Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a gazelle. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the left, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Make the two circles roughly the same size. Don't draw the circles too far apart or the body will be too long. On the top right side, draw another circle as a guide for the head. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Make this circle about 2/3 the size of the first circle. Don't place this circle too high up or the neck will be too long. Make a small mark on the right side of the head for the first part of the muzzle. Connect the small mark to the head using sloping lines to finish the guide for the muzzle. Draw a sloping line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top left side of the head, draw a small arc as a guide for the ear. On top of the head, draw a long wavy line as a guide for the horn. The horn should be long in relation to the head. Pay attention to how this line curves. Under the front part of the body, draw a long sloping line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the line slightly at the top and bottom to indicate the joints. To the left, draw a long line that slopes to the left as a guide for the other front leg. Under the circle on the left, draw a long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the line near the middle to indicate a joint. To the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. Pay attention to how these lines bend. Connect the head to the body using curved lines to create the guide for the neck. Don't make the shape of the neck too thick. Connect the body circles using horizontal lines to finish the guide for the torso. Curve the lines slightly. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye on top of the horizontal construction guide and close to the right edge of the circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Draw a thin curved shape at the top of the eye for the eyelashes. As you darken the shape, make the sides pointy for the corners of the eye. Add a couple of lines around the eye for creases. Draw a few short strokes above the eye for fur. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw an oval and shade it in for the pupil. Near the tip of the muzzle, draw a small triangular shape for the nostril. Shade in the nostril. Add a few curved lines around the nostril for the nose. Make the bottom part of the nose thin and pointy. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the left for the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the line when you get the shape right. Don't make the mouth too long. Draw a curved line on the right side for the front of the muzzle. Under the mouth, draw a curved line for the chin. Follow the path of the initial guide as you draw the chin. Darken the guide above the nose for the top part of the muzzle. Use the long wavy line on top of the head as a guide to draw the horn. Lightly sketch the shape of the horn around the guideline. Make the bottom of the horn wide and then gradually make the shape thinner toward the top. The tip of the horn should be thin and pointy. When you get the shape of the horn right, darken the lines. Follow the curvature of the guide as you draw the horn. As you darken the shape, add a few jagged lines along the path for the ridges on the horn. The ridges don't have to be perfect, just add a few jagged lines along the edges of the horn. Draw a similar shape to the right for the other horn. Use the first horn as a template as you draw this horn. Curve the shape along the path of the first horn. Make the bottom of the horn wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the top. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Add the ridges on the horn using angled lines as you darken the shape. Use the arc on the left as a guide to draw the ear. Darken the shape of the arc but make the top pointier. Add a couple of short curved lines at the bottom for the base of the ear. Draw a curved line inside the shape for the edge of the ear. Add a few short strokes within the shape for the fur that's inside the ear. On the right side of the horns, draw a thin shape for the other ear. Use short strokes on the right side of this shape for a furry texture. Draw the rest of the head using the remaining shapes as guides. Darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the head. Add a curved line on the right side for the brow. The top of the muzzle should connect to the front of the head. Add a few short strokes on the bottom left side to emphasize the shape of the jaw. Follow the curvature of the initial circle as you draw this shape. Use the sloping line on the bottom right side as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and then gradually make the shape thinner toward the bottom. The top of the leg should be inside the body. Make the overall shape of the leg thin. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Curve the shape of the leg along the path of the guide to create the joints. Add a couple of angled lines on the left side for the muscle structure. Bend the bottom of the shape to the right to create the foot. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the hoof. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other front leg. Draw the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the top part of the shape wider than the bottom. Bend the bottom of the shape to create the hoof. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Add a few curved lines at the bottom to emphasize the joint above the hoof. Draw the hoof at the bottom as a small square-like shape. Use the long angled line on the far left side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Make the leg wide at the top and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. Curve the shape of the leg around the guideline to create the joints. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the hoof. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. Draw the joint above the hoof using curved lines. The top part of the leg should be inside the body. Draw the hoof using a square-like shape. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. The top of the leg will be hidden behind the body and the first hind leg. Make the leg white at the top and thin at the bottom. Bend the shape in the middle to create the joint. Add the hoof at the bottom using a square-like shape. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Use angled lines as you darken the shapes to emphasize the structure. Don't overlap the legs that are on this side of the body as you draw the underside. On the left side of the body, draw a thin shape for the tail. Use a series of short strokes to create the fur on the tail. Inside the body, draw a couple of sloping lines to create a stripe. The stripe should extend from the front leg to the hind leg. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Don't make this stripe too thin. Use a series of short strokes as you darken the shape for a furry texture. Now go over the final lines with permanent ink. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Take your time and be careful when you ink your drawing to avoid any accidents. Don't ink the initial guidelines, only the final drawing. When the ink dries, erase all of the guidelines. Now color your drawing. Use light brown and a bit of yellow-orange to color the main part of the body. Color lightly at first and gradually build up to darker colors. Push down lightly with your pencil to get light shades and then push down slightly harder to get darker shades of a color. Add a stripe inside the head using dark brown. Color the nose and eye using dark brown too. Color the horns using brown and black. Add black to the horns to emphasize the ridges. Leave a few sections blank for the white fur. Use dark brown across the body to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Pick a light source as you add the shadows so that they're consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the underside of the shapes. Use different colors across the body like light brown, yellow, and yellow-orange. Slowly and gradually blend all the colors together. Push down slightly harder with your pencils to blend the colors together. For a simpler drawing, use a single color on each section instead of blending multiple colors together. Color the stripe on the body using black. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using gray and a bit of blue. Coloring can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep coloring until you're happy with the result, and that's it for the Gazelle. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.